What's up, everybody? Garrett Chapman with Falcons on SI, back with you for a training camp recap video. Number 8 has come and gone, and it was another really rainy day. So I got pushed inside. So we're coming to you from the Garrett Chapman studios, or AKA my spare bedroom at my apartment. But no, they got pushed inside. So it was another rainy day. So I just wanted to avoid the rain just like they did. But if you want to go check out the indoor facility, it's pretty cool. Got a quick video of it, just a little panorama of everything that was going on in there. It's a cool vantage point for us. When we got pushed in there. You can go check that out at GChapATL. But this video is going to consist mostly of my immediate thoughts, just from things that I saw up there at training camp, but specifically with position battles. Because, look, we have one more practice between now and the first preseason game, and it's really coming down to the wire for a couple of those positions. And, look, this is going to be our first big look at what the coaching staff really feels about these players. And it really centers around two positions. I'm going to start with the wide receiver position. I wrote in my immediate recap that 6 or 7 may be carried. Really, 5 is almost a more realistic number, but I think 6 could be the ending point for them. It just depends on how many guys they want to carry who are going to be contributing on special teams. Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, Cordero Hodge. Those are going to be 4 guys who I know for a fact, but I assume are going to be pretty safe on the roster. Jamal Agnew can probably put his name in there as well. He's going to be your primary kick returner and punt returner. He's been lining up with the ones for the most part as far as punt return goes. Cordero Hodge, he's going to get most of his run on special teams. He's a former All-Pro. He's a very important piece to that. But as far as what they do with that last spot, it's up in the air. Chris Blair, Casey Washington, DJ Chark was just signed. Kenny Sills has been getting a lot of runs with the ones. He's actually been the guy being the primary replacement for Darnell Mooney in the wake of his injury. Nick Nash, a very popular undrafted free agent. That's a name that's been swirling around. But they're all battling it out potentially for the last spot at the wide receiver position. And maybe they carry an additional one. Maybe they get up to 7. I think that's going to be very difficult just with all the needs that this roster has. But like I mentioned, Casey Washington, he's been getting a lot of the run at the one with the ones at the X position with Darnell Mooney out. And he's been playing pretty well. I would say he's gone up and he's making some pretty good plays. The same can be said for Kenny Sills from West Virginia. He's his 4th year in the league now. He's made a couple of big plays. He had 2 catches again today. But this is going to be a big position to watch when we get into the game on Friday. Neither Michael Penix or Kirk Cousins, like we heard yesterday, are going to be throwing the ball. But look, it's still going to be an opportunity for these guys to show what they can do. And I think that's going to be pretty telling just based off of who gets how many reps and who goes where. Maybe not read quite so far into the stats necessarily, but just see who plays. Just check the snaps. The other big thing is the defensive back room, specifically at the cornerback position. 10 DBs are likely going to be carried on this roster, 6-ish at the cornerback, 4-ish at safety. Of course, there's a lot of fluctuation with those numbers. I think we pretty much know who's going to be at safety, but for that one, it's going to be who's going to be the starter. Xavier Watts has continued to be on the shelf. He dresses, but he doesn't take part in a lot of these team drills like we saw again today. And in his absence, Jordan Fuller, he's stepped in and he's played mostly with the ones. And then at the cornerback position, look, they played pretty well. DeMarco Hellams, he's a safety, but Josh Thompson, they both got interceptions off of Michael Penix on some aggressive red zone throws. Mike Ford, he caught a deflection for an interception off of Penix as well. It may have hit the ground. I didn't have a great vantage point of it. I heard some people say it was an interception. I had other people who said it was a drop. They said it not a drop, but it hit the ground, an incomplete pass. But they celebrated like it was, so I'll give it to them. So credit to Mike Ford there. But for anybody who might be worried that, oh my gosh, Michael Penix with 3 interceptions, it's not that serious. One of them came off of a deflection, the one with Mike Ford, and the other ones, I think he was just making very aggressive throws. He may not make those in a game necessarily, but Bijan Robinson talked about it after practice. He said it was the offense just trying to create explosive offense, and DeMarco Hellams, he just made a great play too. But I love the way that they celebrated. Bijan talks about how much it kind of frustrates him a little bit at times, but no, ultimately, I think it shows that they have edge, and that's something that they wanted to add just to this defensive room. It's something they've limited a good bit of in years past, but it seems like they're out there, they're having fun, they're playing with energy, and I think that's really exciting. Just as any Falcons fan would tend to agree. But as far as inactive players go, I mentioned Xavier Watts, JD Bertrand. He was out there for individual drills. He was out there for walkthroughs, but he did have a yellow jersey on. Jalen Walker, very similar to Xavier Watson. He's been dealing with that hamstring issue. He did not participate in the team drills, the 11 on 11, but he was out there for individual drills, and he looked pretty good, I will say, just in the limited action that I did see him. The other thing that's worth noting, Storm Norton, he wasn't out there. Caleb McGarry, Jake Matthews, I think that had a little bit more to do with rest. Storm Norton, it was an undisclosed reason why, but it did provide an opportunity for some of the guys a little bit further down the roster to kind of contribute and fight for roster spots there. Jack Nelson was one of those guys who was able to get out there. Parker was the other. And look, they look good. They look pretty solid. And it's just another reason why you're not going to see starters really on Friday. They're trying to keep these guys healthy, trying to keep them fresh. And those are veterans too. Caleb McGarry and Jake Matthews. Those are guys who they're not going to get any run in preseason. They're just trying to maintain that little steady line. Last big thing that I noticed here today, and it was a lot of this comes from post-practice press conferences, and Divine Diablo, he looked fantastic in practice, made tons of tackles, 6-7 tackles today, including a couple of tackles for loss. But he really feels like a diamond in the rough type. We're still very early. We still haven't even gotten to our first preseason game. But Terry Fontenot's shown a habit of finding guys at the professional level who, I mean, they're budget type players. I mean, some people call it jumping into the budget bin. And finding some value. And I think Divine Diablo is the perfect example of that. He's a converted safety. He's got fantastic physical traits. He's somebody who can get after the ball. He's fast, he's physical, and he plays with a lot of emotion. And Caden Ellis said that he's like the avatar from the Pandora Big Blue people, and if he can do that, that'd be a pretty good addition. And he's 6'3". He's got arms as long as Jake Matthews. So he can get up, he can bat down balls. He looks big in passing lanes, and that helps a defensive front that's looking to be aggressive. And with that speed and athleticism, it's something that this unit is really needed. And it kind of hoped it was going to get from Troy Anderson, but he hasn't been healthy. So, and he remains to be held out of practice. He's on the PUP list. So it's given Divine Diablo a really long runway to really show what he can do. I don't know if we're going to see him on Friday. Of course, all of that stuff is still very much up in the air. But I would love to see him just selfishly, just because I want to see what he can do when he's in full pads and going full go. But he's somebody who's looked very good to this point in practice. He's getting a lot of run with the ones, and look, Caden Ellis, I mean, he's already have a big fan in him. But look, very excited about what's going on. We have one practice left, and of course, I'll be right back with you doing another recap video once we finish that up. Hopefully, this one's going to be up there at Flowery Branch, but fingers crossed. You never know. Maybe, who knows? I'm having fun with doing these anyway. So make sure to keep an eye out on that. Give me a follow at GChapATL if you like what you see. Also go check out Falcons on SI, si.com/Falcons. We got a lot of news up there. I'm going to have a story up here coming up soon on Divine Diablo, Jeff Ulbrich, all kinds of fun stuff, plus all my recap videos and everything else like that. So we'll be keeping you updated on everything Atlanta Falcons. So make sure to give us a follow. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow along all summer long as we build up to week 1. It is just about a month. Kind of crazy, but football is very much back. My name is Garrett Chapman for Falcons on SI. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks.